All right, we are now joined by a special guest, and we thank all of you out there tuning in, whether you are listening on ESPN Radio 94.1 on 757 Saturday Sports Talk, checking it out on virginiapreps.com or our YouTube channel. Matt Hatfield here with you at this time. Our guest is the one and only man from Green Run High School, who was the Virginia High School Coaches Association Class 5 State Player of the Year, 6'4" shooting guard. He gets it done in the classroom and on the court. He helped Green Run capture its first ever state championship as a junior, teaming up with Jake Cooper in that dynamic duo backcourt. And then this past year as a senior, they returned to the championship game in Class 5, won their second straight regional title. Big announcement for him earlier this week, announcing that he will be playing his college basketball in the SEC, signing with the Florida Gators. We say hello to Elijah Kennedy. Eli, thanks for joining us. How you doing out there?
Thanks for having me, man. I'm doing good.
Good to hear. Well, how does it feel to be a Florida Gator? I mean, have you realized it fully yet? Is it sinking in that you're going to be playing in the SEC at Florida?
Yeah, it has. It's a dream come true, to say the least. I mean, only a lot of people around me, they dream of becoming, or playing for schools like Florida or LSU or Georgia. But, to be living the dream is great. I mean, and I'm excited to put on for the 757, and I'm just ready to get down there and get to work and, hopefully play this season. And who knows what happens after that.
Yeah, the 757 is no stranger to getting guys, or Florida, no stranger to getting guys from the 757. Deshaun Painter went down there, Vernon Macklin, and here more recently, Dorian Finney-Smith of the NBA's Dallas Mavericks, out of Norcom High, two-time state player of the year, and Keontae Johnson from Norview High School. For you, though, Eli, we saw you coming up as a sophomore. You were a sixth man, I think third leading scorer on Green Run's team. You had the injury, which we'll get to in a moment, but you didn't have really a whole lot of recruiting attention. You're unranked, no stars, just one Division I offer from NJIT, I think going into your senior season. And all of a sudden, this happens so fast. Florida gets involved. You play on the travel circuit. For you, did it kind of stun you a little bit how quickly they kind of ramped up the recruiting? And tell me about kind of the dialogue with the head coach and Mike White and Akeem Mistine and what they said made you so special in their eyes.
Yeah, it all came really fast. After the tournament in May, I received a good amount of attention after the tournament. But then PGM came and it just kept getting more and more colleges reaching out. And then finally Florida. And I remember the phone call after the game. I was outside and he was telling me how he offered me. And then, he was like, he wanted me to come this year. And I was like, well, and I started pacing back and forth just on the phone talking to him because I was so focused on going to Combine. And when he presented that offer to me, it was, I started thinking about it like, am I ready to be in college this year and stuff? But, I talked with him, got off the phone. I called my mom. I was talking about it. And later on, Coach Akeem, called me to try to settle me down because, that information is overwhelming by itself. And they set up a visit and went down there, and the rest was history. I mean, now I'm committed, but it was great. They reassured me like I'll be straight. I think it was more for my mom because by that time I was already like seeing it through. Like I could see myself there this year, but it was more for my mom than me.
Gotcha. And to be just, I think, tallying it up, not a lot of kids come from a public high school in Virginia. They usually go the private school route, an Oak Hill and IMG, which I know some guys like Keontae Johnson and Matt Coleman have done here. And even like you were planning to do post-grad at Combine in North Carolina, where I know your mate Jake Cooper's going to be this coming year, as well as a couple other guys from the 757. But to be just the third guy, I think in the last 20 years, Denzel Bowles from Kempsville High did it like around 2009, signing with Texas A&M, and John Gilchrist, who's been known in the Beach for many, many years, Salem High and Virginia Beach, went on to Maryland, was the ACC Tournament MVP. What's that mean that you can kind of do this as a public school kid in Virginia Beach and overcome all the things that we'll talk about in a moment with the injuries, the COVID, to accomplish this dream?
Yeah. Well, I'm also young too, so it's just it makes it even better. My story that will be told in years to come. Like, you don't see many people come out straight out of public school, especially Green Run. And I'm just happy to be that person, to set an example, lead the way. And hopefully more people could do what I do.
Sure. Yeah, you mentioned, I think you said you're young too, right? You don't turn 18 until December.
Yeah, no, November.
November,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, November.
Yeah,
So
a couple days before our first game.
okay, there you go.
Yeah.
And Green Run hasn't had a Division I signee, I think, under Coach Harris. I know Ashley James was going to be a guy there, and unfortunately his tragic passing, and he was going to Missouri State, but certainly a big accomplishment for the school. I know they're very proud of you, and you'll see a guy that was a teammate of yours who's going to another school in the state of Florida, George Wilson, who's going to play his college football at Florida State. But let's go back, Eli, a little bit here to you were on the verge of quitting. You had a very serious injury that I know assistant coach Rod Cooper talked about the other day through Zoom when you made your announcement, and that was that knee injury, the gruesome, I think it was tibial tuberosity is what it was diagnosed as. Here we are now, you're signing with Florida. Take me back to, I guess, what made you decide to push through, because it could have been easy for you to kind of throw in the towel or not come back stronger as a basketball player from that setback.
Oh, well, I was sitting out and I was just thinking, well, I had a good season. So, and I didn't want to end on that note, especially with basketball. I've been playing for too long to end on that note. And I was sitting out, and I hate sitting out. I'm just watching my teammates play and everything. It hurts, I'm not gonna lie. But that just motivated me to get back as fast as I can. I went through like 9 months of physical therapy, almost 5 days a week just to get back. And, luckily I made it back like the day before or something like that. The day before the first game against Lake Taylor. I think we played them in the benefit game that year. But yeah, I made it back just in time. And I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't even fully healed, to be honest, but I just wanted to play so bad. And it worked out because I had a good season. So all that hard work paid out.
Yeah, for sure. All state each of the last 2 years, the Green Run product out of Virginia Beach, who raised his level of play in the postseason. I think that dunk you had late in your junior year against Kempsville kind of shook people up. Oh, he's kind of reached a new level there, and you had a great playoff. But looking at some of these numbers here, regular season, 12.5 points a game, 32% from three. You raised it to 16.8 in the playoffs, 38% from three. And then this past year, you were at 17.8 points, 43.3% from long range. And then you went up to 26.2 points per game, 52.2% from behind the arc. What do you attribute your level of play getting better in the bigger, more important games to? What do you attribute that to?
Well, I know it's on the line, and I live for those moments, those big time late game moments. So I guess it just helps me. I mean, I love the adrenaline rush I get during those times, and I'll hit one and I keep going, and I just keep going.
Sure. Well, let's talk about playing in some big moments as well. You got a chance to play for the prestigious Boo Williams travel team, Nike EYBL. There were some other 757 guys with Kanye Clary, who started at Princess Anne High, and Ephraim Butter Johnson was at Western Branch, and DJ Campbell, DeJuan Campbell from Kickitan, Obi Okafor from Bethel, Cooper Jones from Walsingham. Describe how that was, and what did that experience do for you personally?
Well, it was fun. I wish I had more time to prepare as a team, get to know each other a little bit better so we could play a little bit better on the court. But overall, for the time that we had together, I think we did pretty good. And it helped me get a different experience because I haven't, well, besides last year, I haven't played AAU for out my since 8th grade actually. And last year and this year was the first time. But this year, I got to play a little bit more and on a higher level. So, but it was fun. It was definitely a different experience, everybody being so talented and everybody trying to come together and play as a team. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, and I think your efficiency shows in the numbers. And I know it's hard to mesh guys with not a whole lot of time. And also you're still dealing with some challenges here through the pandemic. I know that they restricted fans from being able to go to Peach Jam. I've been there a couple of years. It's a really neat event, but it also, I think, gave you that exposure to college coaches because a year ago they couldn't have gone out and seen you, whether it was through travel ball or at Green Run. So it really, the opportunities for you to be seen was limited, which I think is part of why your recruiting exploded late. That combined with the injury here, and then for Florida staff and then to see you a little bit against those elite level players, I mean, that had to serve you well, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think they mentioned one game against Durant that they really like, but I think they offered me after CP3.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
yeah, which was another big game, but yeah.
Mhm. Their role for you, are they talking more about just being that natural two guard for them that can stretch the floor and also use your athleticism? What are they kind of saying in terms of how you fit their scheme and kind of what their vision for you is?
Yeah, what you said, and also like coming off ball screens, rejecting ball screens, using ball screens, because they like my in the tournament. I think I had a good like turnover to assist ratio or assist to turnover ratio, so they really like that, and they want to see me in the ball screens more, coming off a pin down screen, stuff like that. So yeah.
Going to your visit, and I'd imagine for a lot of kids, all right, this is happening so fast. I'm getting offered from VCU and St. Bonaventure and Wichita State. I mean, I could get 15, 20 more and go down the combine. But when you go to Gainesville, I mean, take me through that experience. And I imagine, though you mentioned to me in the article we wrote on Virginia Preps that, he didn't try to persuade me or pressure me, but having Keontae Johnson there, another guy that from here who's kind of gone through a little bit of what you've been through, helped a great deal. Take me through what that was like being there and kind of seeing all that Florida provides, including, I believe, one of the best strength and conditioning coaches in the country.
Yeah, well, besides the trip there, everything else was smooth sailing. From the moment we got there, the staff was great. They were all respectful, and they showed nothing but love and hospitality. And everybody I met, even the people that weren't on the basketball staff, seen a couple people jogging, and they kind of came over and introduced themselves. So it was just cool. Watched practice a little bit. I love the energy from everybody during practice. Met the players; they were great, and the whole trip was great. It was nothing but positive energy, which I love.
Good to hear. Well, you said the trip there. I guess your flight got delayed a couple times, right?
Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad.
Once you got there, it was all good. A
Yeah.
few more for you, and we'll get to some rapid fire. Let's play a little bit of either or, if you will, here.
Okay.
Either or, I got three of these for you. Either or, Eli, both had their share of difficulties, but for you, which was more stressful, dealing with and overcoming that injury you sustained, or not getting that normal spring and summer with travel ball a year ago, and all that comes into it going into your senior season at Green Run? Which was more difficult, the injury or the not having everything that you normally have because of COVID?
Definitely the injury. That was the worst. I wish that upon nobody. I mean, those first couple of that first month of physical therapy, they had to break up the cartilage in my knee, the scar tissue, and they just had to force it to bend. And that was it by itself. I was ready to quit right there by itself. But yeah, definitely the injury.
Yeah, I think we all had to go through the pandemic, but you only had to go through that specific injury. So that makes sense there. All right, either or, you think about this more often, your junior year, reaching the state championship, yet not getting to play that final game against Northview at VCU because of COVID and it canceled that final game, or how things played out with this year's state championship game? Which do you think about more often? The junior not getting that final game, you guys are declared CoState Champs, if you will, or how this year's final game played out?
Definitely this past year's final game. We just let it slip through our hands and got unlucky. But yeah, I would say this past year, because that wasn't really the year prior, the COVID year. It wasn't really our fault. So, but this year, that was our fault.
Sure. Well, and for those that don't know, you got to after beating LC Bird in the state semis, and you played wonderfully in the postseason against First Colonial and against Salem in the region championship, where you rattled off 28 points in the second half alone. And then Bird in the state semis, you guys get up, I think 17, 19 points, whatever it was, against Stonebridge, scored almost 40 in the first quarter, and they came back on their floor to beat you in that Class 5 state championship game, which I know you probably would rather have been in your gym or at VCU as opposed to in their gym, right?
Yeah, and I wish we could have known. We could have brought more fans too. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was tough circumstances, but certainly a great year nonetheless for you guys. All right, last one on the either or part. Which do you enjoy more, rattling off 9 threes in a game, which you did against FC to open regionals, or posterizing a defender for a dunk?
I would say the 9 threes because I was just shooting in, it was going in. I mean, I remember I think the last when I tried to break it or the three, like the ninth three, I had came up and Jake pitched it back, and I was like in front of the black line. And I shot it, was short. I felt it as soon as I released my hand. I got the rebound, dribbled, and I just shot it. Went in. It just felt like I already knew it was going in. I love when I get hot like that because it's just effortless.
Sure. Well, and I would think the dunks without the crowd, don't get me wrong, they're still nice, but they're not quite the same feeling to them where you can feed off the energy of the crowd with what we had this past year, where it was limited to no fans in attendance pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely wish we had fans this season, but it is what it is.
Well,
Got more fans down in Gainesville. So.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing all the raucous atmosphere there in Florida. He's going to be doing the Gator Chomp. Elijah Kennedy talking with us here. 2 minutes with him here on our VirginiaPreps.com Zoomcast, also available on YouTube and being heard on ESPN Radio 94.1 on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Hey, I'm curious. I haven't asked any high school going into college athlete this, so you'll be the first. You'll be my guinea pig here, Eli. Name, image, and likeness, where the college athletes can now capitalize on their publicity and be compensated through third-party endorsements. What's your feeling on this? And has it even been brought up to you at all pre, post, during your trip to Florida? Anybody brought it up to you until now, I guess?
Yeah, it has. I mean, I don't know too much about it. When I get down there, I'm pretty sure they'll talk to me more about it. But they bring it up briefly. But yeah, I'm not too familiar with it. I know what it is, of course, but I'm pretty sure once I start playing and stuff, it'll like some opportunities will present itself. A couple companies will reach out. But yeah.
Yeah, only positives I think can be had for athletes, provided you do what you're supposed to. Has there been much dialogue about this year redshirt playing right away? What's kind of been the feedback on that at this point?
Oh yeah, I'm not redshirting.
You're not redshirting, okay?
No.
Okay. What about at Florida? What's that?
I said I was thinking about it, but no, I'm not going redshirt.
To come right. Well, I think they've only got one other player coming in your class, a young man from Georgia who was a 5-star. But I mean, it feels like they got a number of new faces, and they had 2 guys get drafted.
Yeah.
What that has to be something that you see that and it opens eyes. I mean, Florida's the last Division I school to win back-to-back national titles. They had 2 guys this past year, and Trey Mann and Scotty Lewis just get drafted. I mean, that's got to be something when you hear that and read that, it opens your eyes a little bit more as far as I've achieved one part of this dream, but there's still a lot more that can be, accomplished, if you will.
Yeah, definitely, gives me hope, of course. But Florida's a great program, as you can see. They produce athletes or professionals, and I'm looking forward to using what they have to offer and help me get better and stronger. So hopefully one day I could be in those guys' position.
What you have any idea what you're going to study or major in there at Florida?
Not yet. I need to find out. I'm still trying to, find out though.
Okay. You could be a communications major, take my job one day. You don't want my job. It's not that fulfilling. When you report to Gainesville, though, when do you report to Gainesville?
The 15th.
Okay. What would be your any before we get to rapid fire here? Any final thoughts on what the fans there can expect from you in Gator Nation?
Just for me to come in straight away. I'm gonna be ready to produce. Put on a show, give y'all something to look for when y'all see us on the schedule. When y'all see us playing, when you turn on the TV, just be ready to see us put on the show.
Good deal. Well, Elijah Kennedy, we thank you so much. Before we let you run, you ready to play some rapid fire with us?
Yes.
Here we go for the 6'4" shooting guard from Green Run High in Virginia Beach. Start with the Boo Williams travel program here on the AAU scene. In this past year at Green Run, averaged 22 points per game, shot 48.7% from long range, 5.6 rebounds, and 3.1 steals per contest. All right, Eli, favorite TV show?
SpongeBob. I ain't gonna lie.
You said SpongeBob?
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of TV, so
Okay. Favorite movie?
Dang. I'll say Endgame right now.
Endgame. All right.
Yeah,
Space Jam 1, Space Jam 2, or neither?
1. Gotta go with 1. Yeah,
Okay.
2, I didn't like it.
Oh, so you saw both. Okay. I haven't seen
Yeah.
the second one. Sport you enjoy most besides basketball is what?
Soccer. No, not soccer. I'm tripping. Football. It'll have to be football. That's the only other sport I really played. I played soccer too, but it'll be football.
Okay. You play football. What, wide receiver?
I was young, so I played wide receiver, running back, quarterback.
All right, I can see that.
Yeah.
Toughest player you faced in high school was who?
Dang. Played a lot of people. Who gave us the most? I'm trying to, because there's nobody. It would probably be either between Donald Hand or Jaden Epps.
Pretty standard answer for most people that face either one of those two guys. How about the best player you had to cover in AAU? There might have been a ranked guy, 5-star guy, national guy in either this past, the Boo Williams, EYBL. Anybody that's come to mind?
Either Jaden Bradley or Scott Clark. I would say Jaden Bradley because he had a better game, but yeah.
Okay. Visiting arena, so you can't pick Florida where you're going to be playing your home games in college, but what's the visiting arena that you're most looking forward to playing in?
I would say that's a good question. I don't know. I know we play up in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center, so if anything, yeah, it would be that.
The Nets. All right. See, I thought you might pick Rupp Arena in Kentucky, but since they're like the big rival in the SEC.
Yeah, but
Brooklyn.
Maybe them too. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely the Barclays Center. Yeah.
Okay, Barclays. All right. A few more for you. You can be president for a day. What's the first thing you would do?
Pay off student debt.
All right. Not too bad. One past or present NBA player's jersey you can have for free. Who you choosing?
Michael Jordan's rookie season jersey.
Okay. Last two. Hardest subject in school was what? Or is what, I guess, since you're still technically going to be in school, making the transition from high school to college. Hardest subject in school. What's the one you say, oh, this one gives me fits?
Either chemistry or algebra 2 trig. I think it might have been algebra 2 trig.
Algebra 2 trig. Well, you're a pretty smart cookie. What did you finish up with? Like a 3.5, 3.8 GPA somewhere in there?
I don't know. I really don't. I remember at the beginning of this past year, I had a 3.2, but that was with COVID and everything. So.
Gotcha. But you graduated with honors, as we know. And lastly, what is your go-to team on NBA 2K?
Warriors. All-time Warriors. Yep.
All-time Warriors. All right, I might have to pick up the joysticks with my all-time Jazz and Malone and Stockton and give you. And I tell you what, if I ever do it one day, Eli, and beat you, we'll have to figure out what you have to do. If I lose to you, I'll wear like the Florida mascot head on my head for an entire high school game and cover it that way and look like a total fool. So
we'll have to get that set up. Definitely, I'm not losing.
Okay, well, maybe some of the Gator fans that watch this can chime in what you have to do if you lose to me. But thank you so much. We're looking forward to seeing what's in store for you down in Gainesville. All the best to him. Elijah Kennedy, the state player of the year in Virginia Class 5. Thank you so much for the time. Congrats again. We're all happy for you and rooting for you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.